Understanding the Forgotten First Amendment. Uncover the real story behind what you were never taught about America's founding. Understanding the Forgotten First Amendment and how it can save our country. Understanding How Less is More includes the only known printing of the archetype of the Constitution and Unscrewed Again, available on Amazon ASIN B0D2Z1GXWG, the Constitution you were never taught. What if the First Amendment you learned in school wasn't the first at all? Buried in history lies a forgotten truth, one that reshapes everything we thought we knew about America's founding. Understanding How Less is More uncovers the real story of the First Amendment through original documents, lost resolutions, and a call to restore what was meant to be. This isn't just a history book, it's a handbook for every citizen who believes in truth, transparency, and the power of the Constitution. Inside, you'll find a blueprint for reclaiming our civic voice, starting with the facts they never taught us. Read the book that challenges the narrative, Understanding How Less is More, available now. Available on Amazon ASIN B0D2Z1GXWG. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 and political gerrymandering were meant to be opposing forces, one designed to protect representation, the other often used to distort it. But over time, legal erosion and strategic manipulation have allowed gerrymandering to undermine the very protections the VRA was meant to secure. The promise of the Voting Rights Act. The VRA was enacted to end racial discrimination in voting, especially in the South, where tactics like literacy tests, poll taxes, and intimidation had long suppressed black voters. Its key achievements included outlawing discriminatory practices like literacy tests, mandating federal oversight in states with histories of voter suppression, empowering minority communities to elect representatives of their choice. This led to a dramatic rise in black voter registration and representation from fewer than 500 black elected officials in 1965 to over 10,000 by the 2000s. How gerrymandering undermines representation. Political gerrymandering is the manipulation of electoral district boundaries to favor one party or group. It robs people of fair representation through two main tactics: cracking a community, often minority voters, across multiple districts to dilute their voting power; packing, concentrating minority voters into one district to minimize their influence elsewhere. These tactics can distort electoral outcomes, allowing parties to win more seats than their share of the vote; disempower communities, especially racial minorities, by making their votes less impactful; create confusion and disengagement, as voters are shuffled between districts and lose connection with their representatives; legal erosion and current threats. In Shelby County v. Holder, 2013, the Supreme Court struck down the VRA's preclearance provision, allowing states to change voting laws without federal approval. In 2023, the Eighth Circuit ruled that only the U.S. Attorney General, not private citizens, could sue under Section 2 of the VRA, weakening enforcement. The current Supreme Court is reconsidering whether race-conscious redistricting, even to comply with the VRA, is unconstitutional. These shifts have emboldened states like Texas and Louisiana to redraw maps that critics say intentionally dilute minority voting power. The bottom line: the Voting Rights Act was designed to ensure that every citizen, especially those historically excluded, could have a voice in democracy. Gerrymandering, especially when racial or partisan, subverts that goal by manipulating who gets heard and who gets silenced. The result is a system where elected officials choose their voters, rather than voters choosing their officials. Are you American enough to save our country? It seems the Republican parties of Texas, with the Republicans of South Carolina and the Democrats of New York, jumping on the bandwagon to grab an unassailable political advantage while completely forgetting the citizens that they swore an oath to the Constitution to protect and serve. Remember all the valiant heroes that fought and died for our freedom. Remember the martyrs who were murdered in the fight for civil rights, Martin Luther King Jr., Robert F. Kennedy, and all the other unnamed heroes who believed in this country. Don't let it die here. Article the 1st is our last peaceful hope in saving our great nation. It's in the book. The original amendments to the United States Constitution, enhanced version of the display in Washington, D.C. Presented by Len Marshall and First Amendment Free Press. See more videos at youtube.com, Marshall426, and on Facebook and other channels. Email len42649@gmail.com.